to chat.
Just the
Here they come. Yeah. All right. Sorry. We're good. We're good. We're starting right now.
welcome
Okay.
everybody to the Leadership Lab. My name's Eric Cadieux. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hosting with me tonight is Alex Sabatili Reger, and we're really happy to have you guys here. Tonight, if this is the first time you guys have joined us before, just to give you a quick understanding of how we basically do these calls, is the first 15, 20 minutes we like to cover a certain subject. And the focus for Leadership Lab is really about helping people at the manager status go to the next levels. And so tonight, Alex is going to walk you through basically how to do that, and just show you the broad range of ways that you can get there. And then after that, we open it up to questions. And it really helps us out a lot when people ask questions or things that they might be struggling with. The other piece that we're going to talk tonight about is leadership. So that's going to be the focus for the first part of our call. And then if you have any questions that you really need to have answered, we'll jump into those and get them answered for you. So why don't we jump in, Alex, and you can start with the first part.
Yeah. Cool. It sounds great. Thanks for the intro. And just so you guys all know, Aaron is also a business leader type himself, and we have put our brains together a bit on what it takes to get to the top of a marketing plan like this, and that is what we're going to dive into after I give this quick overview. Emma's got her hand up. Lonnie, if you are able to communicate, is there video problems? What's going on here? Audio, video disabled. So if you can make sure that the chat is on and that people are able to unmute themselves or that we can unmute them or something so that we can have some interaction, that would be great. But if you guys can hold your question, you can type your questions in, but hold live ones until we're all set with the training part. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm just going to quickly walk through the process. You guys know where this is, hopefully, and if not, then you will know very shortly where this is. So share. Okay, there we go. So if you go to our favorite site, build331.com, you will find this page on step 8. And these 3 pages at the very bottom of step 8 really walk you through the basics of the structure that we need to create in order to get to manager and then to senior director and beyond. So really to the top of the marketing plan. And so just in taking a peek at this, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here on this 3-step process. Getting from manager to getting to manager itself is to have a structure of yourself as a brand partner at the level of gold or above, and that you are qualifying your business to make money 110 BV, but you can still start to make money with just 55 BV in terms of your PV, personal volume, and that will keep you active. And you want that happening in every 31-day window. It's a sliding window according to when your last order went through. You want to make sure you stay active with the qualifying order. Again, you can earn money, but as you get up to a higher level in terms of the cycles, to make the cycles, you need to be at 110 PV. To be a manager, you have to be at 110 PV. You still can make money, however, if you are a silver or above. I mess it up, gold or above. Okay. So basically, you can be just a gold and be hit manager and then fall out of manager and be considered a gold again, is what I'm trying to say, if you don't keep that active PV up at the 110 level. That's what I want to say. Actually, much simpler than I made it. 2 silvers on each leg, also active. That's what we're looking for in order to create that manager position. What I highly recommend is that you bring in more than that in order to solidify that and to make sure that people don't fall out, or if they do fall out of qualification, you have other people that are in qualification on both legs. So really set a goal for yourself for whatever goal you really want to set. I want to bring in a new silver every week or above. Might be a goal for you. You might want to bring in 10 silvers a week or something, set that for yourself according to the pace that you like, and that what's going to make you comfortable to get to the next levels. And you can speak with your sponsor about that for more details, or you can get some coaching right here on this station at this time. So that would be your basic manager that I made much harder than it needed to be. To get to director, you stay at that 110 per month and qualifying. And now you are looking to have 2 silvers on each side, and a manager on each side. So again, this is why you want more silvers. You're building that extra structure because 2 of those, one on each side, need to be a manager in order to get to that director level. There's no needed specific amount of volume that this needs to generate in order to get to director. This just gives you that structure, and that's what you need to get to that level. And this does have some extra little notes at the bottom of that sheet that you can take a peek at to learn a little bit more. Again, step 8 on build331.com. And so you've got basically 2 managers, just like we just talked about, active on each leg, or one on each leg, and then the 2 silvers or above on each leg. And then you're a director. Now, to get to senior director, those 2 managers ideally would be super nice if it works out perfectly for you. Those 2 managers will become directors. And then you have, again, you're anchoring that with a couple of silvers or above. Everyone is active. The directors are active, and this will get you to senior director. There's also a quantity, an amount of volume that needs to be generated in order for this level to hit. And you can track all of these in your back office under promotions. Right under where you get paid, you'll see a little thing where it says promotions and the next steps. You can just do a little drop down. It'll tell you exactly where you are and what needs to be done for you in order to get to that next level. The key thing with the senior director and above is that you do need a director, 2 directors, but they don't have to be in one of each leg. They both can be on one leg, but they need to be personally sponsored by you. And you need to anchor that other side there with, again, at least a manager. If you remember looking at the director, there's a manager over here that does need to be one on each leg. So you would be able to have 2 directors on either leg here, but still anchoring with another person who's up and coming on the other side. And I hope that makes sense. You guys can certainly ask questions if it does not. So again, all the volume requirements for this will be in your back office. I just wanted to give you the structure. It's all about balance, you guys. Yes, we get to work with team, but it's us bringing in and sponsoring directly and helping people to be successful in their business. And that's what leadership really is. And if we don't have all the answers, then we can punt them up to to these calls or to your upline or to your sponsor to get more support, but do those together so that we all learn together, so that you can learn from your own journey and be able to pass that along as your team starts to really grow. And that's really fun. So that's what I wanted to share about the manager to senior director and beyond, really, because beyond the senior director structure, it's just volume, volume, volume to get to the higher levels and unlock more, and also unlock some of the cycle matching bonuses that are available at the deepest level. So just good to know that that's all there. All the training is there. You don't have to understand and regurgitate any of this. I just want you to have that picture for yourself so you can decide where you're going next. For you, take a look at your own team, see what needs to happen, and I always say, don't stop the train. Just keep trucking along. You can slow down at the station, get some things rolling, but keep rolling. Like, they're going to have to hop on there pretty quick. You'll be coming around again, but the more you just continue on your own journey and you keep your eyes forward, working with the people who want to. Leadership is really having people that are following you because you're leading the way. It's not about dragging people along and grabbing them and making them get on the train and tying them in and, having them do stuff they shouldn't have to do. They get to choose to do what they want to do as well, but we have to help become the person who inspires them, who they want to follow. And so that's how I want to lead this into this leadership conversation. But before I do that, let's open up and just see if anybody has questions about that mess I made on explaining how simple it is to get to manager and beyond. Are there any questions?
Alex, yeah, actually, I just have a question just to kind of bring some perspective to it as you're obviously we're talking about leadership and building teams. And so from your perspective, you're at the manager level, you want to get to director, you have your silvers or a couple of golds, and what's your strategy with those 4 key people? Like, how do you kind of figure out who the people are that you're going to build with that team, and then how do you strategically work with them versus just people that are customers or people that are just buying one-offs? What's your philosophy around building that tight-knit team?
Well, I think tight-knit sometimes forms and sometimes doesn't, and that just depends on, usually My style is I'm actually a very extroverted introvert, but I'm actually more of an introvert. I like to work by myself. I like, so it's going to look different for each person for their vision, and we will talk a little bit about that. But in terms of like I'm trying to like I have like five different ideas that are kind of kicking around because that was a big kind of a big question. But in terms of really working with people, it's a tennis match, you know. I lead people to where I their next step is and then kind of match them, right? You know, I might remind them again a second time, but as a coach, if I need to say it a third time, then that's not where I'm going to spend my time, right? So I'm going to spend time with people that are playing and volleying and that are, taking some steps or helping me to help them, or they're already doing their thing and then I just want to make sure I'm checking in and seeing how I can support them and so on. I think that further down the road, rising leaders is really about engaging them and having them teach on things, especially on things that they're weaker in, inviting them to be part of a call like this and saying, hey, I'd love for you to, teach that little piece because you're having success with that. And that also can build somebody who then wants their own people to be on there. So that's a little bit more about developing the leader. It's him or herself. But when it comes to those four people you were talking about, um, it's identifying who they are. It's not necessarily going to be the first four silvers you bring in. And I think the question that we have is related to this in terms of like, they might be a silver, but they're just really there just to get the products for less. And so we just want our job with that person, our goal with that person is to stay in touch and make sure that they're, staying qualifying. If they're not qualifying yet, we just want to make sure they get to the next step of happy customer and then solid customer for life. Then we know, we can start to, everyone's going to be in their own pace, but we are looking for two on each side or three on each side that have a vision. And so we don't really stop building these silvers and above until we really don't ever stop. But our goal is to have three builders on each side at least, right? Because we want to have those two. We just want to, first of all, overkill. Three on each side is going to be a super solid, really, really good team to go with. Three, like that's six people that catch the vision and want to go with it. But there's many steps in between. So it's going to be a volley and identifying who's excited, who's giving me referrals, who can I invite to do an event with, who can I rise up to the next level with, just inviting them to their next little stretch for growth. And it's just, you just play the game like that and stay close with the people that are wanting to be held close and giving space to those who want space.
Yeah.
I don't know. That answer?
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think you hit it kind of on the nail, head on the nail there. Is like there is no consistent path in the sense that somebody's vision for this is going to be completely different from somebody else's. But someone who says they're excited about this product and wants to get involved as a business is actually, it's going to be different than somebody else's. Somebody might get full in on it. And I think it's managing those expectations for yourself and actually even those people that will help things develop quicker for you. Because I think if we tried to put everybody in the same box and say, okay, hey, this is exactly what you should do. You can give them structure. I think that's great, but I think everybody's going to be a little unique. And so to help you from not getting frustrated, I think you have to understand and like you said, make them become happy customers first, and then they can kind of evolve from there. But you're going to have that 5%, 10% that are like, hey, I'm all in. I really love this. I want to do this business.
Right.
So,
Right. And then I would say about 3% total that really become who they, become the leader, right? Like you want like an Onyx Cole or, just not that she's like a half a percenter, maybe a quarter percenter, but somebody who's, really like either they've got it. Like they've got it and they want to go for it and they'll do anything to get it, but not in service to themselves because they wouldn't have the success, right? It's just it's a certain type, I would say, that will come in and you'll just know who they are. They kind of self-identify, they just kind of hit the ground running. But you kind of also said something and we kind of bounced on this a little bit earlier about this idea that like there's a total structure, there's a path, there's Everything's like laid out. There's a system. But who we plug it, who you are to go into the system, everything matters. So this is the conversation around leadership. What is your why? What's going to get you up when you'd much rather be, doing something else, or even anything else, because some people are afraid to pick up the phone or to do, to close the sale or whatever. So take note of that for yourself. What coaching do you need, or what do you need in order to get really clear on what that why is that's going to be really motivating for you on every day, that really deep one that's just an alignment that really works for you. And it could be this business itself just lights you up, the product and the business and the company and the camaraderie and the community, all those things. It could be that this business is your why is for this business to support something else that you're super passionate about or want to create in your life. So there's like the underlying drive of helping other people and how good it feels. And there's that, of course, it's probably deeper down, but then there's that personal, right? Because we're bringing the personal factor into the system. And so it really is it's all about who you are and who you become. How do you get aligned, right? And do you need help with getting in alignment? And this is going to be a great forum for these things. I would love to turn this call, honestly, guys, into a Q&A and basically a coaching call for people who want to raise their hand and get spot coached on something, or a stuckness, or what do I do next, or how would I help this person? I realize that it is a public forum, so that may not work in this arena, but it's just something I might like to see if you guys want to raise your hand and ask those kinds of questions, because I would love to serve you in that way. So, yeah. But back to that leadership part, just it's who you become. And I think a lot of it is, honestly, and I teach about this on my own platform, it's more about like the unbecoming. It's all the stuff we really aren't that we've picked up along the way, that like beliefs around money, or beliefs around things being expensive, or that nobody wants to hear about this, or people don't want to hear about network marketing, or these are things that we need to unbecome. We need to let go of. These are just ideas and beliefs that are limiting. We have programming around these things that we need to undo. And so questioning what's holding you back. It's so important when you feel any closure with any activity, when it comes to becoming, like stepping into that next level with this. Whatever is causing closure, get present with it, write it down. What is it that I'm feeling like that I don't want to do, or that's uncomfortable, or what just happened, or whatever. Get really, really clear with it. Let yourself feel. Don't go straight to the head about it. Just let yourself feel through it. Like, oh, that really felt icky, or whatever. And then bring it to the head and say, okay, is this really true? Or is this something that I need to learn more about? Do I just feel insecure about answering these questions? Do I need to answer these questions? Where can I get support? Maybe there's something I can read. Just kind of ask and let your inspiration show you what your next thing is to do or to reach out to. And that's going to just help you to start letting go of the things that hold you back from going straight to the top, right? So that's a big part of leadership, is self-leadership, and really, really being present and aware of how you're showing up. And then the last thing I want to say about this, even though this is like, this could be a seminar for 5 days. But the last thing of today is about this, who you're becoming, is who do you want to attract into your business? And so I think it's super, super great, valuable thing to do is to sit down and write out the perfect rep that you want to, magnetize into your business, every little aspect about them, right? I think people do this when they're trying to, attract their mate or something. Do the same thing for your business. And also, even, what does a perfect business look like to me? And what would that generate? What do I need to understand about what that, what it would look like to generate what I need to satisfy my why? You start to get sort of this bigger picture, like more of a bird's eye view of what it is you want to create with your business. And then the little hows just become inspirations as you move through the day. You don't have to go by the step 1, 2, 2, like this, but you know that I think I need to do something here today. It feels like it's this. I remember that training. Okay, yeah. And then suddenly you're led exactly to the right thing. So you're kind of half using your brain, but you're really allowing the heart to alchemize all that stuff and lead you directly to where you need to go, because your vision's so clear. And that's how we manifest quickly And then each morning, if you do your gratitudes in the morning, in a journal, write, 3 things you're grateful for, of course, get into that space. And then even one of those things, or maybe a fourth thing can be, I'm so grateful that I've magnetized into my business the perfect business partner who's da 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 da. And just get in that space as if it's done. Like, I'm so grateful that this just happened. And that, I'm telling you, it's magical. It really is. And it really helps set your day off great. So that's what I want
Yeah,
to say about
I think you had two great points there. The first point of really understanding your blocks, and I don't think this has just to do with obviously LifeWave, but when you really can figure out your blocks or those things that you're bumping up against, and you have the courage uh, to really expose them, to really look at them. Yeah, like you said, hey, maybe it's I don't feel comfortable talking about this on the phone. I only feel comfortable doing it one-on-one. Great. Okay. Look at that. What is that? How can you grow your business? For you to meet people every time one-on-one, it's going to be tough, right? That's just a simple example. But I think we all run into things, whatever they might be. But if you're able to have the awareness about that and really kind of look into them and kind of figure them out, or as you mentioned, there's people above you that have all gone through a lot of these things, and just by reaching up your upline, I'm sure there's enough leadership there, even just with Alex yourself or Melissa. They can really help you kind of push through some of these barriers and help you get to that next level. But the other piece I really liked was who is your ideal client? It's the same, or sorry, your ideal rep that you want to work with. Who are the ideal people that you want on your team? And I think people take that for granted. They're just hoping for someone to come along and be on their team. Hey, I'm hoping I can find somebody. But if the same way you kind of do it with in a partnership, hey, I want to find my ideal mate. I want to find my ideal business partner. It's really the same principle. And if you get very specific about it, because other people will want different things. And for me and some of my other businesses, I actually want to work abroad. I want business partners that are the same, have the same lifestyle, that think the same way, lifestyle first, and then business. Where I know one of my other buddies, he is all about being in the office at 7 o'clock in the morning and doesn't leave till 6. That is just the way he does business. It's not the way I do business. So that's not my ideal partner, right? We're good friends, but we don't do business together. So for you to really think about what's the ideal partner that you partners, because you're going to have more than one, is so key to build this business. And yeah, those are two great, really good points. So.
You know how it is too, when you suddenly you want that, Audi or whatever, and then you see that Audi everywhere around you. When you really clearly define what you're looking for, it's attached to a deeper why, and you have an idea of what that structure of the business is going to look like for you in order to create that, and any other elements like that lifestyle or the kind of number of hours you want to work. You build that together with your sponsor or just by yourself. Then, yeah, you're just like, you have eyes to see and they are looking for you, because like attracts like, and that the more positive energy and excitement, not from an expectation standpoint, but from an expectancy. It's different. It's a different frequency. Expectancy is just, it's like faith, it's trust. It's like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Of course it's coming. I can feel it's already done. It's already been accomplished. I'm just looking for it now. And it's going to come in versus, are you it? Are you it? Are you it? They will identify themselves, I promise. And it really does work, but it does take a diligence, and believing it, and then becoming that yourself. Anything on that list that you are not, you need to become for yourself. So keep that in mind, because that'll tell you exactly where to work. So let's open it up. It looks like there's some questions.
Yeah, and Emma's kind of been patiently waiting, and I think we can
Okay.
unmute her because she has two good questions. So
Okay.
Emma, I'm just gonna ask to unmute you if that's possible. If we can unmute Emma.
I know we had one typed question, but see if Emma comes in.
Yeah, okay. I'm just wondering who's doing the technical tonight?
It's Lonnie
Oh,
tonight.
Emma, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, but
Awesome.
can you hear me?
I can hear
Yes.
you, yeah.
Okay, good. I don't know which one to ask first. Okay.
That's the first one. The first one's fine. Go ahead with the one you had.
I don't remember which one to.
Yeah.
Can you read it for me? I
Yeah,
typed it for you.
no
Can you
problem.
read it for me?
I haven't brought anyone new who did my percentage to be closer to the next rank increase to 92% if that had dropped because someone did go inactive.
Mhm.
I'm not too sure if I'm reading that. So were you at 100% and then you dropped down to 92%, Emma? Is that what happened?
No. When I first got to manager,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was at 92% to go to
Okay.
the next level. And then somebody dropped, so
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
percentage went down. And
Mhm.
then
Okay.
I haven't brought anyone else in.
Mhm.
And today I checked and it was back up to 92.
Oh, good.
So
So their auto ship hit. Yay. Yeah, it could be. Can you see where the qualifications are, where it can show what fell out or what happened? Do you see that there's a drop
I don't
down?
know how to look at that.
Okay, I'll just I'll pull. I'm not going to share screen. I'm just going to tell you guys real quick exactly where that is. So if you pull up your back office in a computer format, I'm not doing this on the phone, but you'd find it on the phone as well. Right in the middle, underneath your rank advancement, where it gives that percentage that Emma's talking about, you can click on a little blue link that says "View." Oh, can you mute that? There's a TV on somewhere.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's you. Okay. View promotion details. There's a link there for view promotion details. And when you click on that, there's a little drop down. It's going to show where you are now, but you can drop it down below, anywhere, up or down and it basically will say underneath what your qualifications are. Like it kind of will show you where your percentage is, if you have the different paths, like, exactly what needs to be in place for you to get to that next level. So if you needed to have, for instance, two managers, one on each leg, but you only have one, it will tell you that you still need a manager on your left leg or your right leg or something. It'll tell you exactly accordingly.
Okay.
So that's where you find it.
Okay. And then the other question has to do with the maintenance kits.
Uh-huh.
Like if I order one, will that replace my monthly?
Right.
It will?
So you would have to stop your monthly and order a maintenance kit. Maintenance kit number 3 is the best value for the X39 because you can get, I think it's 7 or 9 for the price of 7. Yeah, 9 sleeves for the price of 7. So it's $83 per month, and they will give you 110 points every month, and that'll be for 6 months. So you're getting really maximum for that. So
And they won't come together? They will come every
they all
month?
come together in one box, so you save on shipping, and then you have all 9 sleeves up front, but then they trickle out the points over 6 months for you.
Okay. So the points are the ones that trickle. The product keeps coming all together.
The product's all up front. Yep.
So then,
and you pay up front. You pay up front, and you get all the product up front. But they just put the points out so you remain qualified for 6 months.
So if I were to order the number 3 for the X39 and X49 for the bundle.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to get the bundle. No, they're just saying that you can get any combination of X39 or X49 in that kit because they have the same value. They allow you to get either or. So you could do whatever mixture you want. Not the performance bundles, but any number of each of those up to 9.
Okay. So how would I specify?
You'll see that when you open up the maintenance kit, you'll see that you can build what's inside between those two. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay.
Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
So when When you're talking to your partners, then Alex, are you suggesting them be on monthly auto ship, or are you just telling, hey, you want to do this business? I suggest, maintenance pack 3, that like this is the best way to go.
I only do maintenance pack 3 after diamond. I always step people up the kits and
Yeah.
then maintenance kit. Yeah. If they never can get to diamond, I mean, generally you can, because you'll go from, gold. If they can't go all the way to diamond and they go to silver, I tell them this is only going to qualify you for 1 month. So you may as well go to diamond and be qualified for 3 months and have all that
Yeah.
product.
Yeah. So maybe like it sounds easy to understand, but maybe just let's step that back and just
Okay.
explain that, like the process of stepping people up. Okay. So I came in at gold, and I want to get more patches. Like,
Mhm.
why would you take me up to a silver? Or I'm at silver. Why would you take me up to a gold first before I go on to auto ship?
An easy jump. It's a super easy jump. Yes, you can do to auto ship, but what I like to do is get an auto ship going that's going to hit in 3 months. But then before that hits, ideally even on month 2, I might say, hey, I have this other option where you can get, if you bump up to gold, and this will depend, because sometimes I really want somebody to try X49 along with it, just because I know that that's something that they want, right? And usually by month 2, 3, I'm already like, at least the one thing I talk about is X49. So to go to gold is just a 1 month supply of X39, X49, and then they get a bonus sleeve of one of the other ones. And it's only for the cost of the two. So it's not a hard jump to get to gold. And then they are set up when they start, because now I know that they're loving the product, they're going to continue on it. Now I'm going to start asking for referrals. So this is bringing a customer, like a happy customer, into a really solid referring customer. That as soon as that first person orders, now I want to really like try to activate them at this point. And activation just means to get them to actually want to start sharing. Having a different conversation is what I say. If your friend does decide to order, I'll give you a call. We'll have a different conversation. That's what I say. It's that just all the time is what I'll say. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll totally handle it. Don't change your password. I'll keep you, I'll make sure that nothing goes out you're not expecting. We'll be in touch. But then by the time they're going to bump up, and at this point, that's when I'm like, okay, who do you know? Let's make sure that you can afford to do this, like, and keep going, because, let's talk about that. So that's where that conversation fits in. And then I don't really usually go to platinum at all, because I think it kind of shoots you in the foot a little bit. It's a little too much product. There's nothing auto ship. You definitely don't need anything more, and it's not extending out any points. So that's what I mean, is if you just go from gold to platinum, it's not as strategic to me. They're not really getting more. They're just buying more. And so I usually just wait until they're getting excited and then see if they want to go to diamond. Now, if somebody's traveling and they need a maintenance kit because they would need to order a bunch, I can, you can do that, but typically people will just call me and say, I just need 3 more months worth, and they'll just buy it wholesale. And this was something that I think the question, if you can ask Alana's question really quick, I'll talk about this because I wanted to talk about this before and it fits this question.
Yeah.
It was one I sent to you. Sorry, I texted it to you. I can read it if I can find it.
I got to hear. Yeah. I'd love to know, once you remind someone of their first auto ship and help them navigate that, do you then put it on for them to stay on top of it, or do you continue keeping an eye out for their next dates?
Right. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. So Ilana, this is for your question. So I treat all of even the people I put in with silver, I treat them like a customer, period. So I tell them when I send a welcome note to them, I send them the tracker, and I send them a recommendation to get some copper glycinate, and I send them their username and password, and I send them their website, and startx39.com. So that's all like written in my welcome note. And I make sure that they get it. And I tell them that I'm going to be in touch, and I tell them, do not change your password until you're ready to manage your own account. I will be your person, basically. So that way they, when I'm calling them, I can move their things around. They're not changing them and not being able to get in. They forget that they changed it, and then they get a shipment, or they don't, some people will take the initiative and say, oh no, I'm all over this. I got it. I'll manage it myself. And that's great. Love that. Ooh, I'm going to take note of that. This person's a self-starter, they're techie. Perfect. I'll make that on notes on their thing, right? So, you're taking down, you're always pulling in the information about how somebody's, acting and being and stuff. But yeah, that's what I do. I treat them as a customer. And then once they become a solid customer and I upgrade, or if I'm going to upgrade, sometimes depending on the person, and if I'm sitting at my desk, I might say, what, let me just throw you a Zoom link and I'll do this in front of you so you can see how this works. And I might show them like that. Not even try to talk them through it. It just takes too long. So that's another way to do it if they're going to set up a subscription or what have you. And definitely when they have a first referral, they're definitely watching on the screen as I place that person underneath them and they get to see that they have a growing team. That's where that different conversation comes in.
Yeah. And then, and we've also kind of talked a little bit about strategically the diamond pack, right? Like if someone's kind of on there's a difference between someone wanting to come into the business and they're just gung-ho to do it. And there's someone that's kind of like, I'm not too sure yet. I'm at a silver or I'm at a gold. Let me talk to a few people first and kind of feel it out. And, we've talked about that strategy before is like, hey, if you're not too sure, find a few people, but before you actually sign them up, get that diamond pack because you could potentially make them into diamonds because they're going to follow what you do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, this is going to be very individual. I think being what you wish to see, again, become the leader you want to attract. But if you're not there, then you're not there, and that's fine. No judgment at all. We all need to learn how to crawl before we're running, right? And walk and like all those steps. So know where you are and come in with what's comfortable, always, always, always. And we recommend the same, that you have that same lens for everyone else. I just knew personally that I'm kind of a jump in and I wanted to attract what I was doing. I just knew instinctively that if I do this, I know I'm not going to back out. I'm committed. I'm qualified for 3 months. I'm not competitive, but I'm competitive with myself to always do my best. And so if I set a goal, which of course, at this point, it's not so much setting a goal. It's just, I know there's a deadline and I want to make my money back and then some. That would be my goal, but it was a little nebulous. It just wasn't super clear. I just was like, I'm just gonna go. But again, knowing what it is you're wanting to attract, being that person yourself to the comfort level that you, and to where you feel, a stretch, but not a splatter. Stretch yourself, get it attached to the why, but don't splatter yourself where you're like, oh, I don't even know why I set that goal. It's ridiculous. But you'll find when you have those low points, again, go back to the why, and then you're like, wait a second, I'm invested in this thing and my clock's ticking, so when that diamond comes in, it really does light a fire. And I personally think when somebody is excited, if you don't jump in, you're going to hold them back energetically. If you're not ready to go to diamond, that's fine, but make sure you put that excited person on the phone with somebody who is, so that they can hold that space and help you. That's what the teamwork is about. We lean on the leaders that the people need if we're not that yet. And that's, again, no judgment. We all need to get there on our own way. So yeah. Does that answer it okay?
Yeah. Elle had a question here. What patch or product helps with eye conditions like pigmentosis redness?
I have no idea. That would be a question. Yeah, that would be something to search for probably in PubMed. If you go to startx39.com and then go into the GHK copper peptide research, because then that'll lead you to PubMed and you can say GHK-CU and whatever ailment you want and see what that does, because the patch raises GHK copper peptides. We cannot get disease specific in claims and what it's going to do for you, but you can definitely do some good research on startx39.com.
Yeah, and I think just like we've talked about before, the foundation of just using X39 as your base, and then you can try other patches, but X39 the one that.
Good point. Good point. Because yeah, there are other patches. So you'll want to go to the LifeWave YouTube and to ours and start listen to David Schmidt. He'll be talking about other patches, and go through your own website as well and see what each patch is meant to do. Yeah, you'll get a lot out of that.
Okay. Guys, we have about 5 minutes. So if anybody else has some questions as we're just talking a little bit more about leadership tonight, please just throw them in the chat and we'll get them answered for you though. But just, yeah, staying on that topic of leadership as we've talked about, what are some of the other things that you're helping your team as you're growing your
Oh, you just froze up.
business, you're trying to, or ideas that you have to oh, did
You're
it come
okay.
through?
You're back on. Yeah,
Yep.
you're back on. I get it. So what other things? Well, and this may not be as duplicable, right? Because I've been doing this for quite some time, but I'm also a coach. So I've been doing business coaching, life coaching, and all these other things. And so I think finding coaching is really important. And again, that's what, arena like this can be for, but getting that personal support, because you can't see your own nose, right? We can't see the stuff closest to us that's blocking us. And so having a mirror or somebody, or just your sponsor, to giving them permission to be honest about what's being reflected there, and being humble and willing to look in the mirror deeply about our own stuff. Because if you really, really take that deeper ownership of, as within, so without, this is a printout of what I've already held to be true for myself, which has led, whether it's false or true. Okay, our beliefs are very often false, right? So, but what you hold to be true for yourself is going to govern how you make decisions and what you do and all of that. And then that's going to output in your world. If you don't like what's out here, you can't wipe it off the mirror. You have to look inward and go, okay, what needs to shift in here to change that? Right. So that really does require reaching out and getting a buddy or getting a coach. Yeah, I really believe that. I'm very deeply believe in that. But I was also put on a therapy couch at 8 years old, and I learned self-inquiry at 8 years old. Like how to ask those deeper questions about my experience. Yeah, so maybe they started to be a little young. Not that you have to do that, but you know what I mean.
Kim had a question here. What if someone wants to ship of IceWave? Does that build points, and can we do that?
Yeah, you could build your whole business on glutathione or anything. It's your business, and all the patches are at your disposal for that. The reason why I love this one is it covers so much. The price point is half the work for twice the volume, and people get so much bang for their buck. They really, really do. And I think it's such a flagship starting point. But absolutely, if pain is your area and IceWave, and you want to teach people protocols and all that, you will work harder, but you can do it. Remember, this X39 came out 3.5, 4 years ago, and the company went from 20 million to 320 million because of that product. And it's a 20-year-old company. So for that long, the company was actually not, I mean, it was definitely, in fact, David was talking about this on the last live conference. I'm sorry, online conference. He said that they were really struggling right at the point when X39 came out, because it was difficult to build the business on all the other patches. And I think it was too confusing. It took so much help. But if you chose one, I still do believe in, if you have one product that you really believe in, you can build a whole system around one product. But all the other patches gets difficult. Really, a confused mind will not purchase.
Yeah, yeah. Kim, hopefully that answers your question. Does anybody else have any questions here? We just have a few minutes left.
Anybody else?
No.
All right. I would. Go ahead. You go.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to plug Alex's next call. I think we're on the same wavelength.
Yep.
She has a call every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. talking about X39 specifically, and she actually ties in really nicely the business opportunity at the end. So really the first part of it is really focusing on the technology, the science behind it. And this is a great call to have people come on if you don't fully feel comfortable talking about the product yet. So get people on the call. And then she, like I said, she talks a little bit about the business opportunity too. So it can intrigue some people. So if you haven't been on that call or have some people that you want to get in front of Alex, this is the perfect time to do it. So you can stay on this call right now or send the link out that you got on to with it tonight. So,
and
Alex,
on that
any
note,
other?
that note, I do want to say this too, because of that call. I want you guys to really get that there's certain pieces of the puzzle that need to fit in for somebody to really lock in that this is what they want to do. And they need to feel confident in hanging their hat with this company. So talking about the company's part of it, the industry that we're in, not only network marketing, but biologics, who's at the helm? Is this privately held? What's the success rate of the company? How long it's been around? Like all that company stuff is really important. Then there's, like I said, the industry, the product itself, of course, speaks for itself, but we go through that again. And then the marketing plan, the compensation plan. Does this make sense for me? Is this something that's going to take a lot of time? It's just an intro on all four of those, so you can get some of those puzzle pieces put together. And the perfect people, not only people that you're not comfortable talking about the product or the company or the business or any of that, but your existing customers, people that you have talked to. This is one of those exposures of the 331. You're inviting somebody to the live call, right, every day if you can, because it's somebody else speaking. It always comes out differently, and they're getting the pieces that maybe you didn't touch on, and then they get led to the other places they can learn more. And I think that's huge about those calls. So not only are these for you, of course, but as many people at any level, I try to position it so that anyone at any level making any next step are going to get just enough to be able to know what to do next. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you, Alex. Yeah, we're at 6:45 and perfect time to wrap it up. Yeah, once again, if you haven't been on the call before, please stay tonight. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern in 15 minutes, and Alex will be back again. So thank you. I appreciate it. It was a great call tonight.
Yeah, it's always good.
Thank you for the call and your questions.
Yeah, send your questions in the Facebook group. Any comments, any stuff there, just go for it. All right. See you guys in about 15. Thanks. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.